Alright, so today I will be demonstrating how to properly use a tool known as Timeline. This tool would best be utilized in subjects such as history or English when you must create a timeline based on historic events or content of a book. This tool could also be used when displaying personal scenarios such as events in your life or a daily routine, as I will show later. As for the age level for this tool, I'd recommend it for students in middle school and high school. Though the content may not be very challenging to use, the tool may not be necessary for those below the middle school age. A bonus with this tool is that you don't have to pay a dime. The website only has one version, which is completely free. Now, you can access the tool by typing in the URL found here. And when you arrive to the website, you'll see a screen that looks something like this. You will see a definition of a timeline at the top here, and then various types of timelines that you can make. Now you can click on any of these examples and it will give you an example of previously made timelines that fit into that category. When you are ready to create a project, simply type in your name and the project title into the corresponding boxes found below. And something to note with this website is that there is no login information required, as your information is not saved on the website. This means that you don't have to sign up at any point. Just give your name and the project title whenever you want to create a new timeline. After you have filled in these boxes, as I will do, my name, and then we'll create a timeline on the seasons. So title, click the start button in the bottom right here, and a new screen will appear. On this screen, you'll see a dotted line in the middle, which is your actual timeline, in which you'll be adding the elements to. Simply click any spot on the timeline to add an element. So I'll start over here in the beginning. When you do so, a box will appear in the left corner like this, and each element can consist of a label, short description, long description, and an image if you'd like. Just know that the label and the short description do have a word limit for each, and big words may get cut off as you go line to line, so try and keep your words short and use hyphens if you need to. In this case though, that will not be a problem for the example I'm going to show you, because I will make my label winter and short description can just be cold and snowy. And then this is the long description here. But the long description will only appear in the other format. As it said here, it appears in the printout only. So this means that you may add a long description now, just know that nothing will appear on the format that we are editing out here. It will only appear in the other one, which you will see at the end. For this element though, I will add a long description just to simply clarify and further explain the label that I'm working with. So we'll just say alright, so just keep it simple. This season will last for several months and the weather will vary. It's up to you, whatever you want to make your long description. And now if you want to add an image, make sure that you have that image saved to your computer, as you cannot search on Google while you are creating your timeline. So I'll just click choose image and then find this PC. And I'm using a flash drive, so let me just find my flash drive, pictures, and then choose whatever picture you have saved that you'd like to use. So when you select it, click on it and open. And then once you have selected an image, a box will appear allowing you to adjust the photo. So these arrows here allow you to tilt the picture. You can also drag it to reposition it, or you can zoom in or zoom out. But once you have the image adjusted to your wants, then click OK and you'll see it form. And over here on the right, this is your preview. So as you added elements, you may notice that the preview will form, and what this does is it shows you what your element will look like before you add it to the timeline. So if you need to go back and make any changes, you can do that before you actually add it to the timeline. but it's not permanent. You can make adjustments. So then once I click the check mark because it was ready, then you'll notice that if I move my mouse around, the box will follow me. That is because you can adjust the placement of the top, and when you do so, you can just click and it'll stay, or you can adjust the placement of the bottom. Same thing, just click and it'll stay. If you would like to delete that element, you can drag it up to the trash can in the top left corner and just let go and it will drop. But in this case, I will keep it here. In the right hand corner up here, you will find the project title. If at any point you want to change the project title, have you just dying to change whatever you want to do. So you can just click inside, make adjustments however you please, and then click out and it'll keep it for you. But if you find yourself wanting to make adjustments to an element that you have already created, simply double click on the box and you will find a box appear similar to the one that was there last time. You can make adjustments as you need to, delete an image, whatever you want to do, and then just click check when you're ready. So this toolbar at the top here can also be very useful while creating a timeline. So this first tab here is the open button, which will allow you to open a timeline that you have already created. Just know that the project must be saved to that computer or a flash drive that you have plugged in. Once you've selected one, so if I was going to select one, I will click Find File and you would find it in your files. Then you will select the file, click Open, and it will open it on the screen. Now I'll show how to do that a little bit later. Now this Save button is also very useful while creating your timeline, as it will allow you to save the timeline to your computer or a flash drive if need be. Please note that if you're working on a project and plan to come back at a later date on a different computer, make sure to save to a flash drive. This is because the website does not save any information, so if you want to come back on a different computer, you cannot just log in to the website. As you saw, that this particular tool does not have login information. So you can only save your projects to your computer or your flash drive. So make sure to save to a flash drive. Also, saving your project will only save the project or the progress that you've made up to that point. So make sure to save when you are finished for the time being. Don't save periodically, as it won't do you any good. You also have the you also have the option to email your timeline to somebody. So when you click save again, and then you can click send and type in your designated email address, and then also hit send down here and it will send to whoever you need it to. But in this case I will cancel. And while you are using the tool, if you get stuck by any chance and have further questions, simply click the question mark there and it will give you some very simplified tips that may answer your questions if you need help. And the X up here is what you use to close your project. Make sure to save it first, as anything closed cannot be brought back unless saved. Since I'm not ready to close my project, I will just hit the check and edit, and it will allow me to allow me to continue working. If you are not pleased and want to start your project all over again, simply hit the restart button down here in the bottom left, and you will be taken back to the introduction screen. Once again, know that you will lose your entire project and cannot get it back. Once you have completed your work, click the Finish button in the bottom right, and this will take you to a new screen. On the left here, we have the ability to view what our timeline will look like before we make any final saves to it. And if you use the arrow here, you can see what the other format would look like. And then you can zoom in, zoom out, adjust as you need. Because if you find anything that you want to go back and change, then just click the arrow here, the left of the restart button, and it will take you back to your timeline that you were editing. And then when you're all ready to go back, just hit finish again. Like before, the restart button will allow you to start your entire project over again. Just again, note that you will not be able to get anything back. So if there's any chance that you want to save your work, just go ahead and save. It's not going to hurt anything. On the right side here, you'll find 4 options of how to handle your completed project. So you can click Save Draft here if you're not finished with your project and wish to come back. Just remember that you need to save your work to a flash drive if you'll be re-editing on a different computer. In this case, I'll just click Cancel. And then you can click Save Final if you're completely finished with your timeline. This is different though than when you save as a draft, because your timeline will be saved as a PDF rather than an RWT. And this simply means that you will not be able to reopen your timeline through the website. Therefore, your timeline is finalized and you cannot make any more changes to it. So make sure that if you're saving as a PDF, that you are completely finished and that is your final timeline. You can click Send Final down here, again, if you want to email it to someone. So just type in the designated email address and you can hit send, and again it will send it to whoever need be. And then Print Final down here allows you to print your timeline as a paper copy, and you can print one or both, and I'm sure you know how to print. Just simply choose your printer and hit print and it will print for you. In this case, I will just X out. And that pretty much wraps up how to use this online tool. Just remember that this tool is not like Microsoft Document or PowerPoint where you save periodically. So only save once, and that is at the end, and remember to save as a draft if you wish to come back. And don't forget to save to a flash drive if you need to, because we don't want to lose any work or timeline that you spent a lot of time on. So in this case, I will click Restart, and I will be taken back to the introduction screen, as I will now show you 2 sample timelines that I have made. And I have created my daily morning routine for both timelines. So the first one I saved as a draft, so I will click Open on the home screen, and then from there I will find my file again. And it is the one ending in RWT to signify that that is a draft, and I will hit Open, and here it is. And I'm clearly not finished, but since it is a draft, I have the ability to finish the project. But now I will show you my final timeline, and to view this version, I have to go to my documents on my computer, find where it is, and it's the one that says Final, and then I will double click on it, and then I will be taken to a different screen. And again, I know this is my final because it ended in PDF, and this is just a finished version of the timeline that I just showed you. So the first screen here is the visual timeline with the labels, short description, and images. But if I use my keyboard and I use the right arrow, I will see the other timeline where you will see your labels and long descriptions. Have you added any? This timeline is the one that is finalized and cannot be edited again. Unfortunately, if you are reviewing your final and you realize that you need to make changes to that timeline, you'll have to start all over again. So make sure to preview your timeline multiple times before saving as a final. It doesn't hurt to save as a copy just in case you need to go back and make changes. And that concludes this tutorial video. I hope this was helpful, and good luck creating your own timeline.